The Vedas inform us that he alone became many, and when he so desires, he glances over material nature. Eko bahusyam sa aikshata lokanusraja iti. These are statements in the Upanishads. So here you find so kamayata bahusyam. He desired, I will become many. This is stated in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 1 to 4. Similarly, the Aitareya Upanishad 3:11 states, Aikshata Tat Tejo Srijata. He glanced at his potency, who then manifested the creation. So the idea is that he desired, let me become many. I can keep the key. I'll keep the key. And this is very. Huh? No, I'll put it in my key pouch. He desired to become many, and when he so desires, he glances over material nature. Before he glanced over material nature, there was no material cosmic creation. Therefore, his glance is not material. This is a very, very important point. Prakriti is by the side, and the Supreme Lord, he glances at matter. Saikshata, Lokanusrija, and he created the worlds. He created the accommodation facility for the conditioned souls. Now, when you say that he glanced, we must understand that his glance is not material because he is glancing at matter. Lord Chaitanya elaborates further. Material mind or senses were unborn when the Lord glanced over material nature. Thus, evidence in the Vedas proves that beyond a doubt, the Lord has transcendental eyes and a transcendental mind. They are not material. So, Aikshata, he saw. That means he has eyes with which he could see. And he has a transcendental mind because he desired. So, he has a mind which is non material. He has eyes which are not material because the living entities, the conditioned living entities, material eyes, material minds, and so on, all of these are manifested only from matter. But the fact that he has a transcendental faculty of vision and a faculty of desire, which are not material, indicates that they are transcendental. They are not material. His impersonality, therefore, is a negation of his materiality, but not a denial of his transcendental personality. So, when it says that the Supreme Absolute Truth is not uh, a person as we have experienced, it simply means that he is a transcendental person. Brahman ultimately refers to the personality of Godhead. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. The expression Brahman is used to refer to the impersonal Brahman effulgence. As we know it, Tad Brahman Nishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. That impersonal Brahman is Lord Govinda's effulgence, bodily effulgence. That is his impersonal Brahman. However, Brahman also sometimes refers to Paramatma or directly refers to Bhagavan himself. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, we know that Arjuna refers to Krishna as Brahman. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajam Vibhum, Ahustvam Rishayas Sarve Devarshir Naradas Tatha, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. Param Brahma, notice here, the Supreme Truth is the ultimate abode. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So the idea is all the great sages and even Vyasa, they confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Brahman. So sometimes Brahman can refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Uh, Impersonal Brahman realization is just a negative conception of the mundane creations. Paramatma is the localized aspect of Brahman, within all kinds of material bodies. Paramatma is present within the bodies of the living entities. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hrideshya Arjuna Tishtati. Paramatma is present within the hearts of all the conditioned living entities. Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantrarudhani Maya, causing them to wander within material existence. Mamaivam the living entities are his parts and parcels, and the Paramatma is also his part and parcel. But the Paramatma is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Uh, Krishna himself states that he is that Paramatma. He is non-different from that Paramatma. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes it clear that he is that Paramatma. Ultimately, the Supreme Brahman realization is the realization of the personality of Godhead. Lord Shri Krishna is that Supreme Personality of Godhead according to all evidence of the revealed scriptures. He is the ultimate source of Vishnu Tattvas. Ete Chamshakala Pumsah Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mradayanti Yuge Yuge. All the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord, but Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. This is Srimad Bhagavata 1.3.28. So it is quite clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead ultimately is Krishna. He is the source of all the Vishnu Tattvas. All the Vishnu forms are emanations from Krishna. This is very, very clearly brought out in the Brahma Samhita, which Prabhupada mentions is the summary of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Puranas are also supplementary to the Vedas. The Vedic mantras are too difficult for an ordinary man. Women, Shudras, and the so-called twice-born higher castes are unable to penetrate into the sense of the Vedas. And thus the Mahabharata as well as the Puranas are made easy to explain the truths of the Vedas. The idea is that the Mahabharata and the Puranas have been presented for people who are non-philosophical or even anti-philosophical in order to attract them to the Vedic teachings over several decades or over several lifetimes. If people accept the discipline provided within the Vedic literature such as the Ramayana, Mahabharata and the 18 Puranas, then they will be attracted towards acceptance of the authority of Lord Vishnu, and therefore gradually they will be able to make spiritual progress. They will be able to understand what the Vedas are talking about. In his prayers before the boy Sri Krishna, Brahma said that there is no limit to the fortune of the residents of Rajabhumi, headed by Sri Nanda Maharaj and Yashodamai, because the eternal absolute truth has become their intimate relative. Here is one evidence from the Bhagavata Purana 10th canto, where Lord Brahma is stating that Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, is the eternal absolute truth. So this is an instance of how Krishna has been brought out very explicitly in the supplementary literature known as the Puranas, as well as in the text of the Mahabharata. Now we should keep in mind Mahabharata contains the Bhagavad Gita, which is the most essential part of the Mahabharata, and they very explicitly state that Krishna is the supreme original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic mantra maintains that the absolute truth has no legs and no hands, and yet goes faster than all and accepts everything that is offered to him in devotion. What is this Vedic mantra? It is this mantra, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.18. Apanipado javano grahita pashyatya chakshusha srinotya karna savetti vedyam nachatasya vetta tamahuragryam purusham puranam. Notice here, he has no feet or hands. Apanipadaha. Yet he is the swiftest runner, Javanaha, and can grasp anything, Grahita, Pashyatya Chakshu, though without eyes, Sashrunotya Karna, or ears, he sees and hears. Achakshu is eyeless, and still he sees. Akarna, earless, and still he hears. Saveti Vedyam Nachatasya Veta, Nachatasya Veta, nobody knows him, yet he is the knower and the object of knowledge. He knows everything, Saveti. He is also the object of knowledge, Vedyam. But, uh, but nobody knows him. Nobody knows him fully. Sages describe him as the supreme original personality of Godhead. Tamahuhu Agriyam Purusham Puranam. He is that ancient original person. He is the supreme person. Notice here, look at this mantra. This is exactly what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has in mind while he's describing. Uh, he has no feet or hands, and yet he's described as a runner, and he can grasp everything by his hands. He sees even though he's without eyes, he hears even though he's without any ears. He hears even though without any ears. So when it says that he sees, that means he has a faculty of vision. And when it says he doesn't have any eyes, it means he doesn't have eyes like us. He doesn't have ears, it means he doesn't have ears like us. But he certainly has a faculty of hearing. He runs, that means he has some facility by which he runs, but he doesn't have feet like we have. He grasps things, even though he does not have hands the way we have. So this is exactly what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is bringing up here for discussion. That look, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has no legs or no hands according to the Vedic mantra, but he goes faster than all and accepts everything that is offered in devotion. How do we know that he accepts everything that is offered in devotion? This we know from the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita makes it very clear that when one offers him foodstuffs for eating, with devotion he accepts. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. When one offers me with devotion, ashnami prayatatmanaha. I accept it, I eat it, I eat those foodstuffs. The latter statements definitely suggest the personal features of the Lord, although his hands and legs are distinguished from mundane hands and legs or other senses. Brahman, therefore, is never impersonal. But when such mantras are indirectly interpreted, it is wrongly thought that the absolute truth is impersonal. The absolute truth personality of Godhead is full of all opulences, and therefore he has a transcendental form of full existence, knowledge, and bliss. How then can one establish that the absolute truth is impersonal? How is it possible? He has a Sachidananda form, and there are references in the scriptures, such as the Brahma Samhita, which make it amply clear that he has a Sachidananda form. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Brahman, being full of opulences, is understood to have manifold energies, and all these energies are classified under three headings under the authority of Vishnu Purana 6761, which says that the transcendental energies of Lord Vishnu are primarily three, whereas the material energy is an inferior one which is sprouted out of ignorance. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has transcendental energies. This is stated in the Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta Kshetragyakhya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Sangyanya Tritiya Shakti Rishyate. This is a famous statement, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting this. Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta. This is the text, and here you see this is the exact text quoted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The internal potency of the Supreme Lord Vishnu is spiritual as verified by the Shastras. There is another spiritual potency known as Kshetragya, or the living entity. The third potency, which is known as Nescience, makes a living entity godless and fills him with fruitive activity. So the idea is that as per Vishnu Purana, we understand that that Supreme Brahman has three potencies. Now we should also understand that Brahman has manifold energies. What is the meaning of this? This is a reference to another